And so, after having another run-in with the mysterious Dahlia Gillespie, we were directed to a new location and given a key to said location. And unexpectedly, there is a look option for this key. By using that, we see that the key is labeled with green lion, and while it might not seem immediately evident why this is going to be useful to us, much like the teacher registry from back in the elementary school, this is actually going to help us figure out where we need to go in the shopping district. Because believe it or not, there are actually 2 different antique stores in the shopping district. But if we pull up our map, we see that the proper antique shop we need to head to is now marked off to us. And there are a number of different avenues we can take to get up there, in case we need to visit Sky Boys or Tramp's Bar, but realistically, there are not that many items waiting for us on the streets of the shopping district, so realistically, Simmons is probably the best way we want to go. So we can try to get in a little practice with the emergency hammer against some of the enemies roaming the streets. Especially good to get some practice with the hammer, because the enemies on the street are a little bit more nimble than the nurses. And sometimes a little bit more harder to spot when they're blocked by Henry's dad bod. Yeah, groaners go down in a single swing of the hammer. It's not too bad if you can get down the timing. And air screamers are pretty much the same way, though I honestly would not recommend trying to fight them with the hammer. And rompers, well, yeah, yet again, it's a question of timing and practice, and I mean, it's not too bad if they knock you down and you manage to mash out of it, because you can easily get the drop on them and smash in their brains, but more than anything, you just don't want to be jumped on by a romper. I mean, if you really get the chance and possibly turn off your radio, you can honestly get the drop on them. But yeah, it's honestly not too difficult for them just to get the jump on you and get in a quick swing to knock them down. Other than that, though, it is a pretty straight shot up Simmons here to get to the Green Lion Antique Shop. It's kind of a shame that there is not more of a reason to explore this shopping district for items or anything like that, because there are quite a few interesting things that you could stop and take a look at. I mean, the most obvious and largest building in this area is this town hall here. Or town center, I should say. But in addition to that, there are a number of Easter eggs just waiting about, such as a floral shop based around the Little Shop of Horrors, or a really odd reference to the Animal Liberation Front from 12 Monkeys. I mean, even if you look really hard, you can even find a really low pixel resolution poster for Portishead. And I can only assume it's there because nobody loves me. It's true. Quick enough, we do find our way to the Green Lion. And it's not the most welcoming storefront that I've ever seen. In fact, its selection is a bit on the lacking side. Even amongst all the bric-a-brac here, nothing is very useful. Honestly, the selection here makes me think that this isn't even really an antique shop. mean, this cabinet here just seems to be here as a means to block something from us. So let's go ahead and push this out of the way.
What's this?
Harry!
Sybil?
I'm glad you're okay. I shouldn't have left you. Things are worse than I thought. It's nuts.
What are you doing here? I thought you left town.
I saw you go in here, so I followed you. I couldn't get out. All the roads out of town are blocked. Cars have completely stopped running. The phones and radios are still out too.
What about my daughter? Did you see her?
I did see a girl.
Was it Cheryl?
I only caught a glimpse of her through the fog. I went after her, but she vanished. I don't know about your daughter, but...
And you just let her go? Where was it?
On Bachman Road. She was heading towards the lake. Now don't get excited. It wasn't like she ran off exactly. There was no place for her to go. The road has been obliterated.
What? So then Cheryl...
It was like she was walking on thin air.
Hmm?
What about you? Anything?
Yeah, I met this bizarre woman. Her name's Dahlia Gillespie. Do you know her?
Dahlia Gillespie. No. And?
She said something about the town being devoured by darkness. Gibberish like that. Any idea what it means?
Darkness devouring the town. Must be on drugs. They sell them to the tourists. The force still can't figure out who's behind it. None of our leads have panned out, and the investigation is stalled.
What could drug trafficking have to do with all this?
I really don't know. But maybe that's the darkness she was talking about. That's all I can think of. What's this?
Just discovered it. Maybe there's something back there.
Let's have a look.
Wait. We don't know what's back there. I'd better check it out first.
I'm a cop. I should go.
No, I'm going.
All right. I'll cover you from here. Be careful. If anything looks fishy, get back here on the double.
Okay. Sybil,
Yeah?
do you know anything about... well, like some other world? It's like some kind of bad dream.
What are you talking about?
I'm not quite sure. I try to make sense of it, but then my mind goes blank. Everything's dark there, and I hear sirens in the distance. I met this nurse, Lisa. It's like I was there, but not really. It's all a blur, like some kind of hallucination, you know?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Harry.
Oh. I was just wondering. Never mind.
Harry. You're tired.
Yeah, maybe.
bit to take in there from reuniting with Sybil. How much of this is actually just in Harry's stressed out, worried mind? Especially with all this mention of the drug trade in Silent Hill.
What's this? Some kind of altar. Never seen anything like this before. Maybe this is the other church.
I mean, it's impossible to discount all the other strange things going on in town, but honestly, some of the things that Harry has been seeing, and only he's been seeing, have just seemed extremely out there. Still, this is another very odd location that Dahlia has directed us to, and I guess yet another very, very secreted location. I mean, I get the impression that the antique store is nothing more than a front for this strange altar with its bloodied sacrificial axes and mentions of no gods. It does leave in a question why Dahlia even wanted us to go here. It's just a small, somewhat empty room. Oh well, we can probably catch up with Sybil to figure out what we should do next. She did mention seeing Cheryl down at Bachman Road, walking across the water. Maybe she's the one that's been hallucinating.
What the?
Harry? Are you okay? Harry? Harry?
Where am I?
Harry.
Lisa? Then I'm in the hospital?
You were having a bad dream.
Was I? Hey, you don't look too good. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Nothing you need to worry about.
Well, if you're sure. Lisa, do you know a woman named Dahlia Gillespie?
Oh yeah, that crazy Gillespie lady. She's kind of famous around here. She never sees anybody, so I don't know that much about her. But I heard her kid died in a fire, and supposedly she's been crazy ever since.
Well, she says the town is being devoured by the darkness. Do you have any idea what she's talking about?
The town devoured by the darkness. Yes, I think I do. Before this place was turned into a resort, the townspeople here were on the quiet side. Everybody followed some kind of queer religion. Weird occult stuff, black magic, that kind of thing. As young people moved away, the people figured they'd been summoned by the gods. Evidently, things like that used to happen around here all the time. Before the resort, there really wasn't anything else out here. Everyone was so flipped out, you gotta blame it on something. Then a lot of new people came in and everybody clammed up about it.
A cult?
Last time I heard anything about it was, years ago. When several people connected with developing the town died in accidents. People said it was a curse. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. I'll shut up.
Was that another dream? Did I pass out again?
Just always feels like we're slipping from a dream within a dream. So the interior of the antique shop has taken a rather dramatic change, and that gives me a sinking feeling that the streets of Silent Hill might have suffered a very similar change. To make matters worse is that mark of Samuel on the ground. Dahlia mentioned that as some type of symbol or spreading of a larger scale evil that we are going to have to deal with. For now, though, we just need to head back on down all the way to the hospital, which, as we already made our way over here from there, it should be a fairly straightforward manner, you'd think. It's just that the nightmare world has taken over the exterior streets of Silent Hill. And as such, things are not going to be as simple as they were before. Yeah, Simmons has been all ripped up, and we have to find another way to get down to Alchemia. Make matters even more difficult, there are all types of new and difficult enemies roaming the streets in all the darkness. You can see some shapes looming in the foreground, but for right now we won't worry about them. Instead, we're going to take a little bit of shelter, much like the survivors in Dawn of the Dead, inside the Silent Hill town center. Which in actuality seems just like a very upscale mall of sorts. You think there'd be all types of stores for us to visit, though the Vestial Gigastore seems to have gone under. Much like the Virgin Megastores of yore. Also, much like the floor or the roads outside, the ground floor of the town hall or town center seems to be mostly missing. So, well, there's always the upper floor.
Cheryl!
It's probably not the best sign. We haven't really got any indication of Cheryl being even alive since, man, I'd say back at the elementary school, and that little video was not very welcoming. With all those other arcane symbols, I also saw a mark of Samuel in there, and it starts to make me think that whatever queer religion or cult that Lisa mentioned having previously taken up residence here in the town is maybe still here. And they have some aims after poor Cheryl. And not too much to this upper floor. Most of the stores are blocked off, except for this one singular storefront here. And it seems to be a mostly ransacked jewelry store, though it does have some items that we can still loot. First of which is a brand new type of ammo. Yeah, rifle shells. That's pretty indicative that we will be getting a new ranged weapon pretty shortly. With that, there is a med kit that we can pick up to fill, or to add to our ever-increasing pile. Other than that, though, the back door, yeah, it's a no-go. So it means we are going to have to keep poking around the first floor and possibly deal with whatever is setting off our radio. Now, I think I could barely just see something in the darkness ahead. Something squirming and writhing. As we get a little closer, we can definitely see there's something on that corpse over there. Doesn't seem like it's taken notice of us, though. Yeah, we were pretty easily able to get the drop on it. Let's go check out what those things are. Speaking of getting the drop on, it seems that in my hubris I managed to fall down here into this little sandy arena to fight what looks to be a larger scale version of what we shot upstairs. This bug creature is known as a twin feeler, and for the most part it's not the most threatening thing in the world. It seems to be nothing more than a tricky parasite trying to hide away in the sand, just doing its best to sneak up on us and throw some type of poison or bump into us whenever it can. It's not the most imposing enemy that the game has to offer, and, well, if you use a little bit of smarts and make use of this metal grating that fell down, you can easily take it out. Yeah. As long as you don't stand on the sand, it won't easily go back into the ground. Though it doesn't seem like its days of ramming into us or spitting poison are at an end just yet. Also, a part of me gets the impression that taking care of those smaller versions of it upstairs does lower its health just a little bit, but I can't be for certain. What I can be for certain, though, is that you do want to make sure and explore this arena thoroughly, though, because this is where you will find the most powerful normal ranged weapon in the game, the hunting rifle. It's got an exceptionally long range, very accurate, just not a whole lot of bullets you'll be able to find throughout the course of the game. Also, we can hopefully make our way through the back streets to get to the hospital. Just have to deal with some gentle nudging from some upgraded enemies. Yeah, it was a bit hard to tell that the groaners that we narrowly avoided before entering the town center were actually a slight upgrade to the groaners we had fought before. But this upgraded air screamer, known as the much less imposing name of Night Flutter, is a bit more obvious in its difference. Take note of its red hue and its no longer beak-like mouth. Instead, its head has been almost overtaken by a whole bunch of worms. Kind of brings to mind the fact that those nurses and doctors that we fought, yeah, they had some type of parasite feeding on them and controlling them as well. Still, we can't linger out in the streets for too long. As you can imagine, in the darkness and in this nightmarish otherworld, things are going to be fairly hectic and extremely dangerous. So many of the roads have become dead ends, and there's only one pathway to get down to the hospital. But as long as you figure out that Sagan is pretty much wide open to you, you can easily make your way down there, and in fact, you can take one little side trip to try to get some additional items by going back to the police station. Which, oddly enough, is a lot less guarded than it was in the normal world. Inside the police station, there still is a massive lack of police officers. And a whole lot less rooms for us to explore. It's just pretty much this main entryway here. But we are able to find some rifle shells as well as some additional handgun bullets. And if you really needed it, there is another save point, especially if you've just been roaming wildly around the streets getting attacked by a whole bunch of night flutters, and I think the upgraded groaners are called wormheads because, much like the air screamers, their heads have been just massively engulfed by some strange worm-like entities. For the most part, though, we don't really need to worry about that. We just need to go ahead and run on down Crichton here and make our way over to the hospital. Much like when we first tried to head into the hospital, the small courtyard here is still full of angry pups. Considering the amount of worms they've come down with, I definitely don't mind putting them down. Still, I suppose it's good news that we took care of all those puppet nurses and doctors in the hospital proper. Get the feeling that hopefully that means that Lisa should at least be somewhat safe in here.
Harry!
Glad you're okay.
Thank God you came back. I was scared to be here all alone.
I'm here now. I was worried too. I'm real happy to see you. Lisa, can you tell me how to get to the lake?
The lake? You take Bachman Road.
The road's blocked.
Well, that's the only way out there.
Are you sure? There's gotta be another way.
Wait! I just remembered something!
What?
There's a waterworks over by my old elementary school. It's been abandoned for years. There's an underground tunnel out there used for inspections or something. I remember hearing it runs all the way to the lake.
Really? You think I can get to the lake from there?
I've never been down in there myself, so I'm not positive. Besides, it's all fenced off to keep people out.
If there's a chance, I've got to try.
Harry, don't go! I don't want to be alone. It's so scary, I can't stand it.
How about coming with me? This may not be the safest place in the world either. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my best to protect you.
No. Somehow I feel I'm not supposed to leave this place. Oh, Harry, I'm so scared. I'm cold.
Look, just wait here a little longer. I'll be back as soon as I find my daughter.
Harry?
I really do appreciate that Lisa is here amongst all this rust and nightmarishness to give us a little bit of a helping hand. So, we just need to head back to the elementary school where there seems to be some type of waterworks or sewer that will hopefully get us over to the lake where Sybil saw Cheryl walking across the water. I still kind of question that. Though I guess the main issue right now is, amongst all this grading and broken streets, just how are we supposed to get back over to the school itself? I'm trying to recall if whenever we were up by the police station that the road was still available, or even the drawbridge to get back over into the suburban area of Silent Hill. Well, I definitely don't remember these large X's being here before, and yeah, that's not good. The road that we came in on is no longer here. In fact, on both sides we are just surrounded by an endless ebony abyss. Well, at least there are some stairs leading up to the roofs. Maybe we can hop from building to building and make our way back up to, I think, Sagan to maybe get back to the drawbridge. Seems though before we start heading from roof to roof, we're going to have to deal with a very nasty insect problem. And it's an insect problem that's not completely foreign to us because, believe it or not, this is that twin feeler that we fought back in the town center. And it has seemed to go through its larval stage into its upgraded form, known as the night flutter, or float stinger, I should say. Yeah, and this thing can be quite troublesome given the chance. It does the acid spit that the twin feeler did, and will also stab you with its very large stinger. And even worse than that, it can be a bit hard to spot, and it's just incredibly mobile. Thankfully, with our new hunting rifle, we can take a bit of quick work of it. Also, something that I really haven't covered before is that there is a little bit of a dodge mechanic that Harry can do if he just presses back and sprint. He can kind of just hop backwards. Allows him to easily evade the stinging attack of this enemy. So I seem to run to a bit of a good luck string here because his attacks are just narrowly avoiding me. And what would normally be a fairly dangerous, I guess kind of tanky and involved boss fight actually went down a lot easier than I would have thought. And we've made our way back into, I guess what I could call the normal world of Silent Hill, which is great. I did manage to pretty much burn through all of my hunting rifle ammo, but I mean that's why we got it, right? For those difficult boss fights. All in all, though, I was pretty surprised it didn't take more damage. I just really felt like he wasn't actually connecting with any of his stings. Yeah, now that we are back in the normal world, we should be able to head back to Old Silent Hill and head back to the school. But I think we'll hold off on doing that till next time. Hopefully you will join me as we head over to the waterworks and see if we can't locate poor Cheryl.